Well, hello, welcome again to our reading of selections from Aeschylus's Prometheus Bound. And I'm going to begin with the first episode, which covers from lines 193 to 396. This is actually in two parts. 193 to 283 covers the recital of Prometheus to the chorus of recent events, to explain why he's there on the crag crucified, and lines 384 to 396 then cover the arrival of Oceanus or Okeanos, and we'll get to that a bit later. So the chorus has a 4-line quatrain. This use of 4 lines from the chorus is used several times throughout the play to introduce or to round off a section. And so the chorus now say, I won't read it all through necessarily, but just translate as we go. So it's pant ekalupson. So reveal, it's an imperative here from kalupto. Reveal panta, everything. Kai gego ne, there's an epsilon elided here. Gegona is a verb which is perfect in form but present in meaning. It's Homeric. It means to speak. So it's speak, logon, an account to us. And then the poio, now it's iota adscript again, and it goes with the it amati. So on what grounds or for what reason has Zeus, Labone, having taken you, sort of almost having arrested you. So on what grounds has Zeus taken you? And Ikisdomai, or here Ikisdo is, it's going to be middle, I think. It's mistreats or maltreats you in this way. Artimos, in a way of dishonour, so dishonourably and bitterly. So what was the reason that Zeus has arrested you and maltreated you in this way, so dishonourably and bitterly? Did Axon Hermas teach us? Ati me blapte logo, again we've got iota adscripts here. This is the second person, so it's unless, and it's second person passive, so you might be harmed from blapto, in some way, logo, by the word, by the telling of the tale. Now Prometheus now begins a long speech in which he's going to outline what has happened to lead up to this. So he says, Algaina men moi kai legainest in tardi. We get a nice men and a de, and we get interesting use of language here. He uses legain and sigan infinitives. Algaina is, I think, neuter plural, and it's being used adverbially here, whereas the algos is a noun cognate with the adjective. So this is a neuter plural adverb here. So on the one hand, it is painful for me to speak these things, and understand there is pain, sigan, to be silent. Pantake de dus potma. So literally in every way it is ill-fated. In other words, whichever way I go, it's not going to be good, it's ill-fated, it's dus potma. Again, neuter plural here, I think. These things are ill-fated in every way. Epe takista erxanto diamonus kolu. So now the epitakista is something, it's slightly idiomatic. It's something like when first of all the divinities, the gods, they began, and it takes a genitive here, their anger, and stasis, there was strife, and the verb here is orothunamai, which is to be aroused or stirred up. And so when strife was being stirred up, it's imperfect here, among one another, so perhaps among themselves, we'd say in English. Hoi men thelontes, now we get a hoi men and a hoi de. So some of them, we have to understand the verb to be here. It's a kind of periphrastic expression really, but some of them were willing, ekbelein, to expel Kronos, Hedras, I think is genitive here, from his seat. So some of them were willing to unseat Kronos, hos Zeus anasoi deithen. Now this is an optative here from anasso, so that indeed, or perhaps this can be used slightly ironically, that supposedly that Zeus might rule, and then hoide, others, and then have to understand something out of the verb here. Others wanted to empalon, the opposite. Spudontes host Zeus me potiarxein theon, being very keen that Zeus never would rule the gods. Again, another optative from Arco. Entar the ego taloisti, again iota adscript, buluain pithane titanas, uranu te kaikthonos techna. Now we have to go to the next page because we need the next two words to make sense of this, and so it's uk a dunathane, and this is a double augment here from dunamai in the past tense. It's using a passive ending here, but it's just active in sense. So I was not able, so just keep that there in mind. We'll go back to finish this off here. So at that point, so there, I, buluon ta loesta, advising the best things, so giving the best advice, and then I was not able, pithane, to persuade them. I was not able to persuade the Titans, the sons of Uranos and Kronos, of sky and earth. So although I gave the best advice, I wasn't able to persuade the Titans. Haimulas de makanas artimasantes, but literally dishonoring, or perhaps almost disrespecting. Haimulas is crafty or wily. My crafty plans, makinas, devices. So ignoring perhaps, or despising, not honouring my crafty plans. Oiont, now this again iota adscript, so it's from oiamai. So they were thinking, so it's an imperfect, they were thinking that by their strong, well, this is like pride. It can mean thoughts, but it's haughty spirit or pride. So perhaps in their haughty, in their strong pride, we get kataros for krataros, I think here. In their strong pride, they were thinking that they could desmosane, future infinitive from desmosdo, they could rule amokthi, this is alpha probative with that mockth root, without any labour. They could rule by force without doing anything, without any labour. Emoi demete uk hapax monon themis, kai gaia polon anoma timorphe mia. And then to melon hei kranoi to pru thespiske, thespike, I should say. So my mother, for me, Themis, and Gaia, literally one form of many names, or with many names. So Gaia is the earth mother goddess. She is of one morphe, one form, but she takes many names. So she and my mother, hapax monon, literally not once only. in other words, many times. So they many times, and the main verb here is thespike. There's an epsilon, there's a pro and an epsilon contracted here. This is in fact a pluperfect from pro, and then this thespisdo root. It means to speak in advance, but it's used of divine speech, almost prophesying. So they told me in advance, or foretold the future, and then they foretold top melon, that which was coming. Hey, now this again is the add script here. You have to supply hodo here, which of course is feminine, in the way in which kranoito, it's middle, it's an optative middle with passive sense here from chrono, so it would come to pass. So just to put that bit together again, so my mother Themis and Earth, one form with many names, they related to me that which was about to come, not once only, and the way in which it would be fulfilled, the way it would come to pass. Hos that, katiskun, that not by strength, nor pros ton kateron, nor by might. Bit of variatio here, they've got a kata plus the accusative and then pros, so not by strength nor by might. So that it was necessary, so they told me that it was necessary, not by strength nor by might, for those hyperskontas, for hyper echo, from hyper echo, it's an aorist participle, that for those who prevailed, kratein, to gain power by guile, to add script again. So that they wouldn't, so they prophesied in advance by what means it would be fulfilled, that it was necessary for those prevailing to take power by guile, and not by strength nor by might. Toiaut emu logoisi ex egumenu. Now this is a genitive absolute here. Ex hegeomai is to expound or to relate something at length. The ex makes it more emphatic, more stronger, to relate at length. So although I related at length all these things, or such things, in words, uk axiosan, they did not, they didn't deign to, they didn't think it worthy, not even problepsi, to look at me. Topan is adverbial here, at all. So they deigned not so much as to look at me at all, pay me any attention. Karatistade moi tone paristotone toti, effinet ani pros labonta matera heconti. No, so this is heconth, there's an alpha elided, and heconti, tseni sum parastaten. Now the phonemai here is a funny use of this. It really is like docio here. It seemed, and taking it with the kratista, so it seemed the strongest course of action. It seemed to be the best. You don't get that usage of phino much in tragedy, but apparently it is here. So, and we get a kind of partitive genitive here. So, among the things present, so among the many options I had at that time, it appeared to me the best, having taken my mother as an ally, so that's the pros, having taken my mother with me, so perhaps as an ally, to me. Now although this is a moi dative, it's gone from the dative, this participle's in the accusative, and so is this one. So you get this switch to the accusative after moi, after an infinitive construction. It's fairly common, not to be too worried about it. So this is actually in apposition with this. So it seemed, among the things at my disposal at that time, it seemed to be the best, it seemed to me to be the best, that's the ani, to be Kratista, the best. Having taken my mother as an ally, I willingly, sum parastarte, to stand together with Zeus, who himself was willing. And Greek loves this hekontha, hekonti. We skipped over that little section, but back in if you look back in 198, you get spudon, spudonti. You get two participles in different cases, and we've got the same thing here, hekonta, hekonti. There's a technical term for this, I think it's called polyptoton, where you've got two words that are the same, but they're in different cases. Greek likes to do this, and this particular, and Aeschylus here, assuming it is Aeschylus, uses this quite a bit, this technique. So just putting this bit together, because it's a little bit tricky, this bit here. So indeed, of the options of the courses that I had left open to me, Totti at that time, it seemed to be the best, this is adverbial here, it seemed to be the best that, having taken my mother as an ally, that I stand beside, together with Zeus, who was willing. So I took Zeus's side. Emais debulais tartaru melambathes akuthmon kaluptai ton palagene chronon. So by my counsels, so by my advice, by my counsels, melambathes, so it's black, the black deep Kuthmon. Now Kuthmon is a sort of hiding place, so perhaps it's a vault here. So the deep black hiding place of Tartarus, Kalupte, hides the ancient-born Kronos. Now the actual story of this is told in the Iliad 8:4-7-9 following, if you want to look it up, and it's also in Hesiod's Theogony 7:17 following, and there's also a story is told also in Theognis, in Hesiod's Theognis 6:24-8. So it's a story you'll find in several places in Greek poetry. So this deep black Kuthmon, this deep black hiding place of Tartarus, hides the ancient-born Kronos by my plans, by my advice, and then we get this nice use of the dative here, autoisi summakoisi, allies and all. So in other words, along with his allies and all. Toi ad ex emu hoton theon tyrannos philamenos. So the tyrant, the ruler, and we're going to get this word tyrannos a lot in this play, and again I leave it to the commentators to discuss all this. So the ruler of the gods, having been helped, we get a perfect passive participle here from Othello. So having been helped in such a way, ex emu, at my hand. Now the main verb here is ex a mapsatop, from ex a mabamai, which to give in exchange. So he gives in exchange, so he rewards me, he pays me back with such evil, with this evil poimnas requital. So in other words, this is what I got for my troubles. Matthias is quite deictic, and so although the character on stage is supposed to be tied down, he must be pointing to the chains and things that are holding him there. Enes digapos tuto te turanidi nosema. Now we get this generalized statement here, tois philoisi me pepoithenai. For perhaps this is this vague pose, it's enclitic. For perhaps in some way there is this disease in tyranny, not to trust pepoithenai, one's friends. So it's something like, this is the problem with tyranny, with tyrants, they don't trust their friends. But it's literally, for this perchance is the illness in tyranny, not to trust one's friends. Hodeun erotat aitian kathetina aikitsata ataime tutot de saphanio. But therefore that thing which you asked me, from erotao, so this is the second person plural, so in respect of the thing then which you asked me, for what sort of reason does he treat me so shamefully? Tutode, this in fact, this is from Seifanisdo. This is another one of these Attic futures. So it's Seifaniso, and the sigma drops out and you get contractions and things. Or Seifanaeso it would be. So it means to make clear, from Saphanisdo. So I will indeed make this thing clear. And we'll see what it is in the next recording.